I've been starting to use this workbench over here that's in the main studio near my editing desk. When I'm running things, like I have this Xserve over here, and it's like sometimes days, weeks, or even a couple times months, a project that I need to work on, and I need it to be nearby but not so close that it's like blowing hot air on me. But the problem is, when I designed the studio, I put in power and networking over here and over here and here and over here and here. But I always thought that this would be like a secondary set or something, and it ended up not being that. And so now I'm always running an Ethernet cord across the floor over here, and that's getting super annoying. So today I'm going to try to install a network jack here. And unlike my previous attempts, I'm going to run 2 network cables, even though I only have a one jack plate. I'll just leave the other cable hanging out in here. And I would do fiber, but I don't have a fiber with me. What I'll do is I'll take this extra nylon pull string and put it in here so that I could pull a fiber if I ever need it here. And eventually I'll probably hire an electrician to put in a few more outlets in different places, but I have to plan that out a little better because I don't want to break the sound barrier between the server room back there and the studio, because then you have sound issues if you have servers that are cranking away at something. So anyway, I'm going to do this today, but I noticed I have an extra jack, but I don't have an extra Newark box that you slot into here. So I need to go buy that. And I've measured some things out. I looked at reference pictures of the studio. There's some framing here and then some framing right here. So I'm hoping that's right in the spot that's not in a metal stud. If it is, I might have to do some patchwork, and I don't want to do that. So I might even drill in from the backside a little bit, just a little hole to check to see where that metal stud is, or I'll go home and get my stud finder. I don't know. But that's the plan. I'm going to run a cable up here, and I'm not running it over on this part of the wall over here, because I want it to run up the wall in this quieter space and then come over this wall to the server closet, and then it'll go down into the server closet and come over to this rack. Ignore this cable. It's been here for 3 weeks now, and I told myself it's a temporary solution, but we'll see how temporary that actually is. But that'll come down here and go into the rack, and I'm running out of plugs over there, so I might have to run a patch cable over to this switch up here to get networking to that spot. But that's the plan. I'm going to go by the hardware store now and see if I can get a old work cover for this so that I can start working on this, because I don't want to start running anything until I have all the parts here, because it's Friday, and when you start a project on Friday, it tends not to get done until a month or 2 later if you don't finish it the same day. So that's my goal right now. It's lunchtime, so I'll go eat some lunch and go to the hardware store. All right, back from the hardware store, I bought a little fishing rod. I guess that's, what does they call it? They call it a glowfish rod. I never had one that glowed in the dark, but that's kind of fun. I have a wire fish at home, but it's the kind that coils up, and it's not great when you just have one straight run like this. And I figured that these are like 25 bucks. I'll probably use it 5 or 10 times here, so it's worth having one of these guys around. I actually have a fishing pole that I used for a video like 2 or 3 years ago, but it's only about this long. So it would not get from up there down to this point. This one should just, well, hopefully that's long enough. I hope I didn't have to buy the kit. Let's see. Oh, that's not going to be quite long enough. I should have bought the kit with multiple rods. That's annoying. I might have to run back and get the longer kit, or just a little extension, because I only need like 6 more inches. Anyway, the other part is I bought 2 of these so I'd have an extra one here. This is an old work box. How this works is you stick this on the wall where you want it to go. Obviously line it up and level it, and then you put little dots where those holes are, and then you stab a jab saw in here and cut out an opening. Then you screw this in, and as you screw it in, these little panels pop out. And as I usually pre-screw it in and out a couple times, otherwise these can kind of bend and then flex it, and then it turns like sideways and it looks ugly. Anyway, it kind of clamps down onto the wall, so this is behind the wall, and this works for drywall. It doesn't work for everything, but it works well for drywall as long as you have a cavity back here. And there is a cavity, it's filled with insulation, but the key is I need to make sure that I'm not hitting the horizontal metal strips or the vertical. This drywall is actually hung off the wall using some, I think they're called furring strips or something. It's for sound deadening. Basically, this drywall is not directly attached to the metal studs. It kind of floats off of it a little bit to prevent sound transmission. So I'm going to check with my stud finder. I don't know if this one is sensitive enough for this, but it's usually pretty good to find where all of the parts of the wall are. So, oh, well, that's annoying. It looks like there's a metal stud right there. So I'm going to have to move this over here probably. And let's see if we can find vertical. So it's not finding those vertical furring strips, I think because they're too thin. Yeah, but in general, there's the stud there. And then if I come over, there should be one 16 inches over here. Yeah, there's one right there. So yeah, that's a good thing that I got this from home. I wasn't going to, and I was just going to wing it, but don't do that because you end up right on a metal stud, and that's not good for anything. So I'm going to move this sticker over maybe 3 or 4 inches this way and cut the hole, and we'll go from there. All right, so I moved this over from about here to here. I think we should be in the clear here, as long as we're not at a horizontal rail there, but we'll see. I'll just center this by eye, and then I'm going to use my level to make sure that we're close to level at least. And that looks good. So now I'm going to mark this thing. Get each of these little corners with this little drill bit. I usually have a little screwdriver for this, but I realized all my precision screwdrivers that are this tiny are at home. So I might have to go get that fish tape regardless. So we'll see. All right, so I have my 4 corners marked. And now comes the messiest part of this whole operation. Mr. Jab Saw. This is a little folding one. I got this just because I didn't want the blade to be exposed here at the studio. I don't remember how this, it's supposed to be like a switchblade. Why is that not, I guess you gotta hold down the button. Okay, so this guy, it's simple. You stick it in there and jab it, and then you start sawing down, and I'm hoping I will not hit a horizontal metal rail that's holding this wall up. If I do, that's not good at all. So we'll see. So far, so good. All right. And then I guess I'll just go straight down on this one as well. Line it up. And I'm not going too deep here because there's insulation back there and I don't just want to rip it all out of here. Okay. Then we're going to go across. We are at the point of no return on this project. I want to finish it today or bust. Okay. See, there's our insulation. And you can see how things start getting a little bit messy. If there's that much dust there, you know it's spreading out all over this, so I'm going to have to vacuum that before I track it all over the place. But we have a hole, and that's step 1. The step 2 is getting a hole up there, and then getting wire passed between there and there. We'll see if we can get that done. I don't think I can use the stick that I bought. I'll have to go and get my fish tape probably. Hey, there's my face. So like I said, what I usually do with these things is I zip this screw in and out a little bit, just because if I do that while it's in the wall, it can kind of mess up the plastic. So I'll go in and back out. I can feel it kind of biting through that plastic. And if you do this before you put it in, it generally seems to go better. So I'll get this in here. Okay, we can look pretty straight here. And it's getting caught up on the insulation. Okay. All right, this is in nicely. It's flat. You want it to be as flush as possible, otherwise your wall plate's going to stick out a little bit, and that's never very fun. Okay, now let's figure out how to fish after we get a hole up top. So this has already turned into a 2 hardware store trip. I got this set, which is only twice as expensive, even though you get 3 times as much of these sticks for fishing. But we're not going to use these quite yet, because I need to make a hole up here to fish those fish down to the hole down there, or up. I don't know which one will be easier. Probably down, because I'll have a 3/4 inch hole. That's my goal. I'm going to put a hole in through the drywall up here. There's like a drywall layer, and then a rubber neoprene layer, and then a metal layer on top of the wall, because this structure is actually like separated mechanically from the ceiling, so that ceiling transmissions don't come into the studio as much. So we'll see if I can do that with this in a stepper bit. And I don't know if I'll be able to record up there because it's a tight space, it's nasty dusty, and I don't want to get my camera all disgusting up there. But I might just cut to the next step. We'll see. Oh, and don't step above the step on the ladder that says danger. Don't step above here, but I'm about to do that. And in case you're wondering, this is what a step bit looks like. It kind of has like these little rings that are bigger and bigger, and that helps you to drill a hole of whatever size you want, looking at the side here, which you can't see at all. I'm sorry about that, but look it up on Google if you want to see exactly what this looks like. You gotta set this in the drill. And away we will try to go. I don't know if this is gonna work or not. You might have to figure out a different solution to drill in, because the thickness above the metal is about that big, and that's like as big as the drill bit. So I don't know if this will work or not. Find out soon. Hey, look, there's a little nail randomly. Totally missed the trash can. Okay, we're through the metal layer. This drill is not happy with how deep we're going there. But we're definitely through the metal, and I think we can start fishing now. There goes the hook. So the way this works, there's these little attachments, like a hook, and this is like a bullnose thing with a pass-through so you can stick a cable in it. And I just completely ripped this off of the little holder for it, but apparently that wasn't the way to do it. But you take one of these rods out. I'm going to need 2. And they will screw together. They're also very bendy. So I'm going to screw 2 of these together. We'll see if I have to unscrew them again once I get this in the ceiling, but they should be flexible enough to work out. Screw these 2 together, and then I'm going to put this little bullnose thing on here, which goes right in the end, like so. And typically it's best to have 2 people to do this. It's not as easy when you just have 1 person, but we make do, and it just takes longer because you got to go down and check and then come up and then wiggle, and you know, hopefully I don't have to wait until someone else comes to finish this off. We'll see. This is nice, it glows in the dark. Didn't even realize that at first. Try not to hit the electrical stuff or the fire suppression system. And we are in the hole. Going down and hitting the ceiling. Okay, I've hit something. That could be a good or bad sign. Okay, I'm past that thing that I hit, and I think that'd be so funny if the thing I hit was the actual hole in the wall. Let's go check. You and me together. Let's unscrew the camera. Actually, we'll just take it on the tripod. Yes. Come with me. That'd be beginner's luck if I... Wow, okay. You see that? Here, let's see if you can see that. It's in there. That was, that's incredible. Okay, well, that was way easier than I thought it would be. Turns out that measuring with a ruler helps a lot. And that's all I needed to do. Of course, this is now out, so I'm gonna have to put that back in, but there we go. That was too easy, too easy. Well, I have electrical tape somewhere, but I cannot find it, so I'm gonna try using this gaff tape, which is a lot more expensive than electrical tape, but it should work for this pole. It's not like we're going that far. Typically with electrical tape, you can wrap around a bunch of wraps to make a nice smooth entrance for the cables. In this case, these don't fit through this thing, so I'm just gonna tape them on the side, and I'm gonna send up this little nylon wire, and I wrote this earlier because I was planning this out. Just to remind myself, make sure there's 2 Cat 5, no, this is Cat 6, and nylon pull string. I'm gonna use one of these for now. We'll do the other one later. But I think what I'll do is I'll get this one to come through here, and then I think let's see, we'll probably loop it around here a little bit. So we'll loop it around everything. And then we're gonna try to get some good tape coverage on here too. Just so that when we're pulling, nothing comes out. This probably won't work. It'll probably get stuck halfway up, but we'll see. I should have gotten the tape out before. Okay, well, that didn't do so hot. Let's try this again. Wrap it around a couple times. Get this tape in here, and we're gonna start wrapping the tape around everything to lock it in. And then we're gonna try, see, this is where electrical tape is much nicer. You don't have to, well, that's like $1 worth of tape right there, gaff tape. But you can just kind of go around and around without messing with it. Let's get this on here. I think this might be enough for this run. It's not the prettiest, but hopefully it'll work at least. I'm gonna get this started here so it doesn't catch on anything. And now I gotta go back there and start pulling up. See if we can get this out of here. Oh, okay. Almost tripped on my whole desk setup. Okay, I'm gonna sort out the cable a little bit to make sure it has a clean run up there, because I'll have to pull most of the cable through here. Move this cable into here. Okay, now the cable has a straight path to get up the wall. And then I'm gonna go up there and try pulling this. We'll see if it rips off in the middle of the wall or not. This is definitely a structural piece of T-channel here. That's why I hold on to it for safety. Okay. All right. I'm unscrewing this first rod just to get it out of the way. There it is. And you can live on the ground. And let's see if we can get these cables up on the first try. This is too easy. Too easy. Uh-oh. I say that as the cables get stuck. Yeah. Okay, there we go. I don't know if you can see that down there, but I'll bring you the camera up here just to give you a peek at it and hold on to the structural piece of T-bar. Probably wondering, why am I wearing these gloves? It's because there's tons of fiberglass up there, and if you ever get it in your fingers, they itch like for a day or two. So I try to avoid that if I can remember. But let's go up there and take a peek. Come with me above the top step of the ladder. Okay, we're getting higher and higher. And now I only have one hand, and this is actually a little more risky, so let me use my elbow to pull myself up. See the red? That's for fire stuff. This is where we came out of the ceiling. So there's our hole. If I were doing this really, really good, I would put some sort of strain relief on there so the cables can't rub against the little metal layer, but there's a lot of rubber in there, and the rubber actually kind of protects the wire a little bit. But these are going to come up and come over here and go into the server closet right there. This is kind of the home run for all the cables. There's my GPS antenna and a service loop for some other runs that go to the back, service loop for the runs that go to the front, and we have the main run that goes to the front of the studio over there, and then some security cameras wiring over here, a couple fiber lines that go to my desk that my dad and I put in. So all that stuff is here. And the last thing that remains is running these two cables over there. It's a very easy run though, and I'll get that done, and then we'll patch things up into the patch panel in the rack room. And hopefully that'll be pretty much the end of this video. I guess I'll put the connector on the wall in here too. But yeah, I'm going to tie this off. This little nylon, I'll tie him off right here so that if I ever want to run another wire, I can just use this little line and pull another wire down or up. And when you do that, make sure you run another wire, because then if you take this one out, you won't have another one, and then you'll have to like use one of these or run another fish down there. And then it starts getting really cramped inside there, because that's not a big hole. It's only 3/4 inch. Do you know what I did right after I got off the camera? I pulled those cables about 3 or 4 more feet, and guess what happened? I pulled that nylon line right up through here, and it's gone. It's somewhere in the wall, and I'm never going to get it back with all this insulation. So goodbye nylon line. I'll have to fish another wire through there again if I ever need another one. Yeah, so don't start pulling things until you've tied off the nylon on this end, and this is way overexposed. I'm sorry about that. Okay, next goal, get the wires to come through here, which should be pretty easy, and then I need to go down to the patch panel that's just underneath that. Here, fishy fishy. Are you seeing it? Are you seeing it? I don't know. I can't see anything because the camera's way far away from me right now, but hopefully you're seeing 2 wires coming through. And I'm trying to do this in a way that does not get them snagged with other wires up here, because it's starting to get a little crowded up here in the ceiling. But now I need to make sure that I'm also not going too far down below, because I don't want to do what I did with the nylon line and pull these wires up either. Okay, there they are. The wires are there. And look, there's that nylon fish line that I left in the wall and then pulled right through the wall, and it's worthless now. So you get to take a trip to the dump. So let's patch these cables through now. You probably didn't see any of the things that I was just doing. Okay, now we're going to try to route these cables. Wow, there's a lot of echo in here. That's kind of weird. And you can't see me at all, so I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Remind me to make a rack room that's quite a bit bigger if I think I'm going to be filming in it in the future. So you can't see anything I'm doing up there. Let's zoom way out so you can actually see things. There we go. I got to move this thing out of the way every time. Don't break the fiber. I don't think it's even connected right now. I mean, it's connected, but I don't think that my computer's connected. So I could probably take that out, but I'm going to leave it because I don't know if it is or not. Okay, let's try to get these 2 into here without making a giant mess of everything else. Look at all that. Okay. Let's get you 2 bundled in there. Join all your little friends, little cable friends. and keep you on top so that you're routed with your own kind here. I could be using zip ties or Velcro like I did for some of these other runs, but that takes too much time. Who has time for that stuff? Okay. That worked out okay, actually. Now I need to try to get this. Oh, okay, that sounded terrible. Okay, now we're good. So for these, I'm going to use a technique that I found on TCI Productions. Great channel for networking and that kind of stuff. If you are interested, he just literally sticks the wire through here so that he can form these nice little loops of wire and have them all be beautifully arranged. And then after you do that, you cut them to size and then you label the cable and you put everything together the right way. It's all beautiful. And things look like you actually planned them out, even if you're doing things like 10 years after the fact. So I will show you that in a minute after I get these to size. So we're going to do it about there, and I don't have my snips, so I'm going to have to go get those. Got the snips. Now I can just cut these so that I'm going to have them be next to each other like so, and bring them in, and I'll pull back a little bit and then snip them both at the same length. Okay, and then now I can crimp these onto connectors and they should slot in perfectly and look nice back here. So let's get to that. Hello again. Here's the problem. I don't know how to film up in this little area, so I'm going to do this and then show you the work, and then we'll actually show you how I'm crimping these things back out there. And these are all shielded. This is all shielded here. But out there, I'm just going to be using a plastic faceplate, and that won't be shielded, so I don't know, whatever. But yeah, so anyway, I'm going to do this now, show you what's done, and then we'll go back in there and where I have the ability to put a camera somewhere that you can actually see what I'm doing. Okay, coming up here, this is what we did. This is what I did. I don't know why I'm saying we. You didn't do anything. This is the connector. The shielded connector, which I just realized my plenum rated cable doesn't have a shield in it, so I use an expensive shielded connector with an unshielded cable. Whatever. They're still nice. They're easy to crimp together. Anyway, I put those into here, and you can see I label the cables with my Brady labeler, and then you zip tie them to the little tray there so that when you pull this out, there's strain relief, and everything kind of bends down so there's a little bit of slack when you pull things out. So I'm going to, before I label these though, I was about to put the labels on before I recorded this, and then I realized I don't know which one is the one that I'm going to put in the wall for now. So I'm going to wire one up and then see which one of these it is. And then I'll label it based on that. I'll probably call it, let's see, what do I call these? Studio 3, 1, 2, 3, so I'll call it like Studio 4, 5. And one of these will be 4. And the 4 one will be the one that's in the wall in there. So by random choice, I have decided that this is the cable that will be stuffed back into the wall. So I'm going to put a little Velcro tie on it. And worst case, if there's like an earthquake or something, it'll be hard to get this out. But worst case, it won't be too hard to fish this out of the wall just by grabbing it out. I'm going to stuff it back here. And it'll just get a little insulation in it, but that's okay. So we're going to stuff you over here. I'm trying not to mess the insulation up too much because that's providing our sound deadening. There, now it's down here and I'll just have to refer back. Oh no, I touched all the insulation. My fingers are going to be so itchy. They already are. But anyway, now we're going to put this one on, and I guess I'll have to like cut a slit in here so that I can pull the insulation up a little bit because I don't want it jabbing the insulation back. You are getting in my way. I'm going to move you up there. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to cut this like here so that I have a little bit of extra slack. And I don't know where I put the end connector, so let me grab that. So here's how this works. First, I'm going to cut this. This is not, nope, I don't know where I put my cutters. I will cut it with this guy. It's kind of annoying to cut Cat 6A cable with this because it doesn't fit in there as nicely. But I'm going to cut you. Get over here. Yep, right there. Let's see if this cuts. Okay, it still works. And then we're going to strip it back just a little bit, not too far. This is a nice tool for this. I have other tools that I use at home, but I bought one of these fancy ones for here because it just makes stripping and crimping RJ45 and RJ11 a lot easier. And clean up some of this straggler here. Get off. Okay. Cat 6A is quite annoying because Cat 8 is really annoying. If you want to crimp something, it's practically impossible for a human to crimp. But Cat 6A has this center channel here that kind of guides these. The reason these are twisted so tightly and there's this guide is to prevent any crosstalk, which creates a better chance at a high data rate over long distances. This is also copper. Don't buy copper-clad aluminum. That stuff is terrible. But yeah, there's also this little dangly bit of string here that you can use to strip the wire. But I'm going to snip that off because I don't want it getting in my way. And I'll use my micro snips to cut these as flush as I can without snipping the delicate copper wires. And I like these trend net connectors. I've used a few different ones with Cat 6A. And these trend net ones are usually big enough and beefy enough that it doesn't get too difficult to do this by hand. After you untwist all those bits, you stick this little guy on here. I don't know what this is called, like a ferrule or something. And then it has a handy guide on it. I don't know if you can see that in the video. I'll zoom way in, but it has a handy guide for A and B, and we are not savages here, so we use B standard. And you just got to match up the colors, so green and, let's see, orange is on this side. Get away from me. There we go. So you got green and blue down here, and orange and brown up here. It goes orange, white, orange, white, brown. Now this isn't the B standard, this is just how it is on this little thing. White, brown, brown. Get in the little tray. So I got all that, and then now I stick this onto this end, and you see these little bits bite down on the cables. I think TrendNet actually makes a tool for this to make it easier to like do everything in one go and cut the little ends, but I don't have that tool. I think it was like 50 or 60 bucks or something. That's too rich for my blood. But you can just squeeze it down, and that makes the connections. But before you're finished here, you got to snip these as close as possible, because I don't know if you can see that on there. I'll zoom way in again. But there's a little black insulator bit, and if these are cut too high, it'll actually short the wires together on the connector itself, and that's no good. So we're going to snip these again with my micro snips, as close and flush as possible. Their tool does this automatically, but I already have micro snips and fingers, and that's all you really need. Last step is to crimp everything together, and some people could probably squeeze that by hand, but I just use these because it's easier. It's easier to give the force necessary. And once you hear the pop, you're done. Now, I need to go find my wall panel for this. This is all tight, everything's good. That cable is tucked back there. I'll forget about it, and I'll probably pull another cable next time I need to do this, but whatever. And I'll grab my trusty LTT screwdriver. This is the original one with the broken bit on it that I had in a video quite a while ago now. Where is flathead? There it is. And drop it, of course. Okay, now which side is up? Up, huh, they even label it, up, like that. And then, that means we go like this. No. That means we go like this. Yes. Okay, we're getting somewhere. Okay, I'm gonna cut a little bit of this so that we can keep it, See, I want the insulation to still fill in the wall back here. So I'm kind of cutting a channel in it for this to come through so that the insulation can still sit up right against the wall. You know what? This actually has Phillips. How fancy is that? I thought I'd have to get out my flathead screwdriver for this. But it turns out I could just do the Phillips. But I'm going to start it anyway. And I realize my hand is covering everything up. But it's not like you haven't seen somebody screw something in before. Not the most exciting video in the world. That's why this is on the second channel and dropping more stuff. Okay, Phillips. Phillips for the win. I mean, Star Drive would be nice, but we are in America and we use Phillips. There's even a gas station named after the screwdriver. Okay, that's good. Now, I need to find out what this is plugged into back there. So I'm going to plug something into this, maybe my MacBook Neo, and we'll see how that works. Okay, we'll see how it goes. Okay, right now Studio One is connected to my desk, but I have a fiber line going there, so I'm just going to unplug Studio One. And we'll see if we get a connection through this guy. Is this the one? We have a 50-50 shot. Hey, look at that. It's the first one. Nice. Okay, let's go check the Mac and see if we're getting a 5 gig connection, because I plugged in a 5 gig Wiz2Pi connector back there. Walking through the studio. Here we are. Okay, we got a connection. Let's, sorry about the wobble here. Details, let's see if it's 5 gigabits hardware. 5,000 base T. See? So we definitely have more than 2 pins connected. And I'm going to label this thing now, and we'll be wrapping this up. Okay, let's see. 4. Print. There we go. The number 4. Labels make me happy. Because now I can know what that is. Okay, time for some cable labeling. And every time I use the Brady, I always forget exactly how to get this set up, but I think I have it set up. I did label type wire marker and set 0.75 inches. I hope that's okay. We'll see. And I put Studio 4. Let's see what happens. Here comes our label. Yeah, that's... I want more labels than that. I want it to print all the way up. Okay, let's try this again. Wire marker. Let's try doing like that. Print. I don't think that was... Okay, there we go. That's what I wanted to do. See that? Now I can wrap that around the cable, and it'll be very easy to identify which one is Studio 4. So now I just need to do Studio 4 and 5. Print. Okay, let's label these things. I don't know how the framing is, but that's why this is Level 2 Jeff. That's not really a song, and I wasn't singing. But yeah, nylon label wire marker. Nice stuff, because this looks professional, and now I just need to remember to put it the same direction as these other ones, so I can see it from over here. They don't look silly. And that was not at all centered, but you know, hopefully it works. Let's try doing the other one too. Studio 5. You know what would be funny is if these are just facing down, the labels. But at least they're labeled, you know? Can't be perfect. Okay, that one is going to be, the blank spot on it is going to be the part that's facing up. Oh well, what can you do? All right, let's get you, get in there. So we got Studio 4. And we're going in here. There's one. And Studio 5. Now let's hope those labels were correct. I didn't even double check that. Let's see, Studio 4 should get a light. Yep, we got a light. I realized I did not label the cable in the wall in there, but oh well. Can't be perfect. It's more for the OCD among us that every zip tie is lined up exactly the same way. I am going to come over here. I'll go into Studio 4, and I'll just leave Studio 1 empty for now because I don't have enough ports on my MikroTik down here, or MikroTik. And I'll put Neat Patch back on to hide all the mess. Best invention ever if you want to make things look nice. And there you have it. Okay. So see that? I put the label right where the blank space is facing up, but you can look down a little bit and you see it. Anyway, we got all these plugged in. I need to get a new switch for this rack at some point and give myself some more ports. We got this done, and we got this done, and yeah, now I don't have to run an Ethernet cable across my studio over there just to get networking for this long-term workbench. How nice is that? Next time I build a studio, I'm going to be putting like network jack, network jack, network jack, network jack every single place, and probably put more things in the ceiling that I can just drop down more stuff, preserving the sound isolation as much as possible. But it's so nice to have more than you need. And a lot of people commented on my video when I was building this place, like, you should have put 2 runs for every connection and put in Smurf tubes and stuff. Yeah, next time I'll do that, you know. Second systems problem, my next studio is probably gonna have like 14 jacks per outlet, and I'll go way overkill, but that's how you do things. Anyway, bye-bye. Level 2 Jeff, signing off.